So today we have two boxes to open from Jackson's. There's this one which I can open on the desk because it's quite small, and there's another much larger one which we may have to open on the floor of the studio. But yeah, these were mainly paid for by my Jackson's affiliate credit. As lots of you know, I now put a link beneath the videos in the description box, and if you go to Jackson's via that link and place an order, I actually receive a small commission at no extra cost to you. If you're a brand new customer of Jackson's and you've never ordered from them before, you'll actually get 10% off your entire order if you go through that link. I'm not sponsored by Jackson's, this is just an affiliate account, so if you buy stuff through them, I get a little commission each time, and that helps me with the running of this channel. So let's see what's in this one first. I don't know how to open this, but maybe I'll just cut through each side there and then go along here. That wasn't very even, was it? Oh, hold on. Ah, there's a tab. I can just pull it. By the way, I have my old scruffy art cardigan on whenever I'm in the studio, particularly when I'm working on canvas paintings, where I often get covered in paint. I wear my old clothes. Oops, I'm not doing this very successfully. Oh, excuse the noise. This is like the least sexy unboxing you've probably ever seen on YouTube. I have no idea why I'm making such a pig's ear of opening this box. I've unboxed enough art materials in my time, you'd think I would know what I was doing by now. Okay, so we have, oh, these are nice boxes, aren't they? Gosh, they've really stuck them down. I do apologise for all the terrible noise in this video. So we have some golden boxes, so you can probably guess what's inside here. I ordered some new acrylics because I really want to expand my collection of golden acrylic paints. I think I already have 11 different colours of golden acrylic, and I've ordered 4 more in this order. So we have Titan Mars Pale and Titan Violet Pale. I want to make some really lovely landscapes that look perhaps a little more spring-like. I can just open this up carefully so you can see, because we won't swatch these ones. You'll see me using these in future videos. You'll see the paintings I make with these. But I will be swatching the watercolours later on in this video. But yeah, the acrylics I'm just going to show you like that, so it's a really beautiful colour. And yes, I know I could mix this up myself probably, because I think it's just something like Mars Orange and Titanium White, but I actually just like to have ready mixed paints. I find that painting is sometimes a difficult enough process as it is, and sometimes you just want to reach for a colour. So I do have some convenience colours as well as colours I use to mix. I thought this one looked such a beautiful pale lilac. I don't know if that's coming through on camera, but that is a pretty colour. I think that will be a nice one to use in my more spring-like landscapes. So in this box there should be 2 more. They actually had a sale on their golden acrylics. I wasn't expecting that. I went looking for this colour, the Jenkins Green. So I don't have many greens, and I was really attracted to this. I saw someone using it on Instagram, and I thought, oh, that's the kind of green that I really like. It's quite dark. Let's just open that up so you can have a look. Beautiful dark green. It's hard to show you, but hopefully you can see. Yeah, so I went looking for this one on the Jackson site, and then I saw that they had a little offer on them, because this is a Series 7. Now this one should have been, gosh, I forget how much, a lot of money, like I don't know, £20 a tube or something, and it had quite a few pounds off. So I decided to get that, and then I thought I would just get some others, and I got a Titan buff. I guess that's basically buff titanium, and yeah, I thought that would be a good one to have. So those are the 4 golden paints. Shall we have a little look at the Titan buff? Just open that up so you can have a quick look. But yeah, these should be good additions to the 11 paints I already have. So that brings it up to 15 different golden paints. So I'm getting quite a little collection now, and I really love their colours. So I'm quite excited to use those. And when I was going to check out, they actually offered, as they do sometimes on Jackson's, they kind of say, oh, your offer for today or something like that. And at the bottom of the page, as I was going to check out, it said a special price for you on this brush. I think it should have been £6.60 and I got it for £3.30, something like that. And so it's just an acrylic brush, but I thought this is the kind of brush I use all the time, and for £3.30 it looked pretty good. Let's just open it up. And have a look. So it's the Jackson's brand, the Procryl number 6. That looks very nice. Certainly a good bargain for £3.30. So I'm glad I decided to go for that. I don't always go for the offers. I think I did once before, but sometimes they offer you some quite good stuff. And yeah, I thought, seeing as I'm buying acrylic paints, I'll get a new brush to go with it. So I've just brought the massive box into the studio and put it on the floor. I think what I'll do is I'll open it up and then we'll get all of the different bits out. I'll probably put the smaller pieces back on the desk so we can have a proper look at them. And I'll just show you quickly the paper that I bought that is probably going to be used for a commission. If you ever order large sheets of paper from Jackson's and you're worried that they're going to get bent in transit, well, this is how they pack them. They tape them. Let's see if we can actually get a better look at that. All around the outside, it's been taped to the box, and then all of the smaller items are kind of taped to the top of the paper, so it doesn't move about and doesn't get bent. And yeah, I think Jackson's are one of the best places for actually packing art supplies, because I've had boxes that have arrived in a terrible state, but because they pack everything so well, the items inside have been completely undamaged. So there you go, that's how they pack large sheets of paper. I've just unwrapped it a little bit so you can have a better look at it. It's the Fabriano Artistico cold pressed paper, and it's really heavyweight, so it's incredibly thick. It's 640 GSM, which is a £300 paper. It's so thick it actually feels a bit like card. You see it has this very, if we can get it to focus, yeah. It has this really lovely, just very lightly textured surface. So that's going to be perfect for what I need it for, because this is either going to be a watercolour painting or I may be using my Holbein acrylic gouache. So yeah, it's going to be a big painting, so I needed something that was going to not buckle and be a really sturdy surface to paint on. So in that little package we had 2 Faber-Castell Pitt Artist brush pens, one in a pale pink. This one's for me. I like to use this in my mixed media work. I layer these pens with coloured pencils and paints as well. So I haven't tried the pink one before, and I thought it would be really nice to have this as I'm getting into pinks now. So that's how they look. So yeah, that one is for me. This one is actually a little present for Dominic, because I bought him a set of the Pitt artist pens for Christmas, and it was like an earth tones set. There were like 6 different pens in there, 6 different colours. and he was using them the other day, and he happened to mention that he could really do with having a grey to go with them. So I thought when I next place an order, I'll get him a grey pen. So yeah, that one's for him. So I'll just show you what I have over here before we get onto the paints. Now, one thing I love about Jackson's is that they do these little sample sets of different, or sample packs rather, of different papers so that you can try them before you buy a sketchbook or the larger pads of paper or whatever. And so I've been curious about Stillman and Burn sketchbooks for a while. So I thought for 50p I will just order this little sample pack, and I can try some of the different papers from the different sketchbooks. So that's what that is. Now this is a golden acrylic, what do we call it? Like an information booklet of all of the different types of paints and with the colour charts and the different mediums they do. So I thought that could kind of come in quite handy. I think that was like 10p or something like that, but these are really handy to keep in the studio for quick reference if I want to just look something up. I don't always want to have to go online and start searching. Same with the Daniel Smith. This is for all of their watercolours. This is a massive, I don't think I can fit it all in, a massive colour chart. So this is really good reference for me. Even if the colours aren't printed exactly on this chart, I get a good idea of the range that they do, and also the light fastness ratings and the pigments and so on. So it gives me quite a lot of information, so that's quite handy to keep that in the studio. So I think all of these leaflets were 10p. This is quite a large one actually. This is the Schmincke Horadam colour chart. It's more like a booklet. I'll just give you a quick flick through there. Sorry, I can't fit it in because it's actually really quite large. I would say it's like A4 size booklet, and they show you the different sets they have. But yeah, this is just a reference for me. That's really pretty to keep in the studio so I can have a quick look things up rather than always having to go online. Because I really like the Schmincke Horadam paints, so I'm getting into those. And obviously, you know, I love Daniel Smith, and golden acrylics are something that I'm really loving at the moment too. So those are all the little leaflets and samples I got. Okay, so on to the paints now, and if you watched my Daniel Smith swatching video the other day, you will have seen some of these colours, you will have seen me swatching them, but I am going to swatch them again for you today, because it'll be interesting to swatch from the tube and see if they differ at all. But yeah, I swatched the Mineral Marvels dot card set. There were 36 dots of paint, all of their Primatech colours, and I wanted to do this because I have been wanting to add to my Daniel Smith collection, and it's quite expensive to buy the paints, so you need to be really sure before you buy. And I thought the dot cards are the perfect opportunity to just try the different colours and see which ones I really like. So the first one I'm going to show you is this one. This is Red Fuchsite Genuine, and this one, if you remember, is one that I completely fell in love with. It has a slight iridescent kind of sparkle to it, but not too much. And I just thought it's such a beautiful colour that I had to get that one. The second one we have here is Bloodstained Genuine. Now I think this was the one that I thought looked a bit boring at first, and then as it dried, kind of granulated, and I could see this lovely aubergine purpley colour coming through. So this was one that definitely had to go on the list. And it was surprising because at first I was like, I don't think I'm going to be that into this colour, and then I guess it shows the importance of waiting for them to dry to see what they really look like, because then I thought it was gorgeous. Okay, this one is Fuchsite Genuine, and this is something I've had on my wish list for a while, but I hadn't bought it because I wanted to try the dot cards first just to be sure. But it is really beautiful. It's a soft sort of minty green, and it has a slight shimmer to it. And when I swatched it from the dot card, I knew that it was the kind of paint that I needed in my palette. So I was glad that I was right about that one, and that my instinct, I thought I was going to like it, but I wasn't 100% sure. And then when I swatched the dot card, I realised that it really was as beautiful as I hoped it would be. So yeah, I ordered that one. So we've got 3 of those. Let's see what's in this one. I couldn't order, by the way, all of the paints I wanted in one go. I have future orders hopefully coming when I spend some more of my affiliate credit. But yeah, there are certain colours that I really wanted, but I didn't get them this time. So I'm just adding them bit by bit as and when I can afford it. So here we have another one that was on my list for, I think it's been on my list for most of this year so far actually, Fuchsite Genuine. Now this is a beautifully granulating, a greenish grey or a greyish green, however you look at it. And yeah, I wanted to try it because this is quite an expensive one. I think this was £18 for this tube, and so I needed to be sure before I bought it. But when I tested it, swatched the little dot card, really loved it. So I was pleased. A bit like Fuchsite, it was one that I'd had my eye on for a while. So this one may come as a surprise to you all because I haven't mentioned that I wanted this or that I liked this one. This is Lunar Red Rock. It's not one of the Primatech colours. I just heard about it through another YouTuber. Now, see if I can remember her name. Irit Landgraf, I think is her name. I'm sorry, Irit, if I'm mispronouncing your name. I probably am. But she has a great channel where she talks a lot about watercolours, and she was doing like a colour mixing video, I seem to remember, where she was mixing with Lunar Red Rock, and I was just like, this is a colour that I am going to love. So be interesting to swatch it, but hopefully in a future video I'll be able to do some colour mixing with it as well, and we'll see what we can come up with. So thanks Irit for alerting me to this paint. And if you remember from my art tour from about a month ago, I had the Schmincke Horadam super granulating, I think it was called Forest Blue. Absolutely beautiful colour and beautiful texture. So I decided to get one more of the colours, and this was the one that appealed to me the most. It's the Tundra Pink. So it'd be fun to swatch that one and see what that's like in reality. And in the last box we have 3 smaller tubes of paint. And I think all 3 of these were inspired by Irid's channel. She talked about Payne's, no, sorry, not Payne's Grey, Naples Yellow. I don't know why I said that, I've got Payne's Grey on the brain. Naples Yellow Reddish. That looked like a really interesting colour to have in my palette. So yes, I discovered that through her. I can't remember whether she has the Schmincke Horadam version or another version, but yeah, that's where I discovered that colour. She also loves Cobalt Teal Blue, so I decided to get the Daniel Smith version of that. So that was another Irit inspired purchase. And also this last one it's a Dusk Pink Rembrandt. I've never used the Rembrandt watercolour before. Sorry, did I go off the screen there? Yeah, I've come back again. I was just really attracted to the colour, and I had to wait for this one to come back in stock because it went out of stock. When it came back in stock, I added it to the cart, and yeah, so there we go. Thanks Irit for the inspiration for some of these paints. So I left them to dry for a few minutes. A couple of them are still a little bit wet at the top there. I don't know why those ones are taking longer to dry, but we can get a good idea of how they look. These aren't supposed to just be a palette in their own right. They're just colours that I'm adding to my palette, and I'm going to be mixing these in with all of the other watercolours I have, and there'll be a series of videos coming up very soon actually showing how I am putting the watercolour palettes together. I'm going to be pouring the tubes of paint into little plastic pans and putting them in metal watercolour palettes. So those videos will be coming up, and this is the first time I've ever done that. I usually just work from tubes, but I really want to create different themed palettes and have also one larger kind of general palette with good mixing colours in, plus all of my favourites. So I'm really excited for that series of videos, and I can't wait to share that with you. So yeah, let's have a closer look at these. And this, the Fuchsite Genuine, is just as I remembered. Hopefully if I hold it like that you can see the gorgeous iridescence. It's not too much, it just gives it a slight shimmer, which I really love. We've got something strange going on at the top here. This is a slight sort of grey mottling in the top third, and I think it's probably my fault. It was because I was dropping extra paint in there, and maybe it wasn't mixed up well enough or something like that. I'm not the best at swatching, I'm much better at actual painting but these are just for me to remind me of what the colours look like, and also to share with you, so they're not supposed to be perfect, but we can get a good idea of what they look like. The Fuchsite Genuine was everything I hoped it would be. This gorgeous greenish grey and all of this beautiful texture and granulation. That's going to be brilliant for landscapes. The Cobalt Teal Blue. Now this doesn't look as bright on camera as it does in person. It also looks a bit more, not only is it brighter, I would say it's slightly more greenish blue in person. It's a stunning colour, and it's the kind of colour that I would probably use just in a small section of the landscape or whatever it was, or the bird or whatever I'm painting. I can imagine using this as like a bit of an accent colour, a highlight, just something to add a pop of colour, because as you know I usually prefer a more muted palette, but I do like to add the odd bright colour here and there. So on to the Bloodstone Genuine. Now this one was the one that I thought was a little bit boring when I first swatched it from the dot card, but I'm happy to say that I was completely wrong. And this is why once I'd watched the swatch dry from the dot card, I completely fell in love with this colour, and I was just like, I know that I'm going to need that in my palette, because it's kind of a more interesting, I would say it's kind of a more interesting alternative to black in a way, and it has really fascinating granulation. There's a lot going on, and you see, I don't know whether that's showing up, but it has a slight aubergine tint to it as well. It's a really stunning colour. I'm loving this, and yeah, I think this one's going to be very useful. Be interesting to try and maybe do some mixes with that. The Tundra Pink from the Schmincke Horadam Super Granulating Special Edition, whatever we're calling it. This reminds me very much of a handmade paint I bought from an Etsy seller the other week, and I haven't filmed the video yet to show you. I love that, and I love this. This is like a darker version, I would say. So yeah, it doesn't look terribly pink to me, but it does look like the kind of colour I love to use. So on to the Royal Talens Rembrandt Dusk Pink, and this is doing all sorts of stuff that I didn't expect. I love how it's separating. I love this pattern and texture. This is going to be a really interesting one to use. Both of these in some way could be used in night landscapes or night skies. They're stunning together as well. So I really, in fact, this whole row is kind of a nice trio. So I really like that. Yeah, that's an interesting paint. So the Lunar Red Rock. This is gorgeous. This is kind of like an English red deep kind of colour. And this is how I described red Fuchsite Genuine in the other video as well. They are kind of similar, except look at the shimmer you get from the red fuchsite. So, so beautiful. I'm not entirely sure how exactly I'm going to use that yet, but I know I will because it is absolutely beautiful. And I think watered down, diluted even more, could be a really soft and subtle colour. That could be interesting in my new landscapes. And on to the last one. This is Naples Yellow Reddish from Schmincke Horadam. And yeah, just a really nice, I would say for me personally, an autumnal landscape colour, or maybe even a coastal landscape colour, because it reminds me slightly of the colours of the cliffs along the Suffolk coast. And I've been wanting to do a series of paintings of the Suffolk coast. So yeah, lovely colours, really pleased with all of them. A little bit concerned about the Fuchsite Genuine mottling situation up there, but I think we can probably solve that. But yeah, so there you go. Which one's your favourite? Let me know in the comments below. Are you going to buy any of these yourself? I love to hear what you're buying, and I also love to hear your suggestions, because so many of you have suggested to me paints that you think I'd love or pencils you think I'd love, and I'm always open to trying new things. So please just leave a comment, let me know, and yeah, and I'll look them up and possibly add them to my shopping list. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you again soon for another one.